Welcome to HR Success Talk, a global platform of over 150,000 HR professionals and business leaders, with a presence in 11 countries including India, the UAE, USA, Ghana, Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom, and more. We believe in creating exceptional workplaces through collaboration, learning, and meaningful conversations that drive growth. HR Success Talk is built on a simple idea: growing together. Here, you grow professionally while helping others grow. Build connections for networking, career advancement, business collaborations, and mentorship. With more than 70,000 followers on Facebook, 29,000 on LinkedIn, 60,000 plus active website users, and 36 plus WhatsApp groups, we ensure you're always part of the conversation. Our events are designed to bring people together through both offline and virtual formats. Offline events include HR conferences, conclaves, roundtables, and workshops, designed for in-depth learning and face-to-face collaboration. Our virtual events include webinars, online HR meets, and talk shows, bringing accessible insights right to your screen. HRST Elite Club is an exclusive community of senior HR and business leaders from key cities. These are focused, closed-door sessions for strategic leadership exchange and real-world problem-solving. Through our Future Leaders Club, we prepare emerging professionals to take on leadership roles by offering mentorship, structured learning, and networking. With over 250 HR meets, strong media recognition, and a global volunteer network, HR Success Talk is helping shape the future of HR and business. Whether you're a leader, learner, student, or mentor, there's a place for you at HR Success Talk. To get involved, write to us at deept.karana@hrsuccesstalk.com or visit www.hrsuccesstalk.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the audience watching this particular webinar from all over the world. This is a webinar called Voices That Matter. It is our edition 2 and episode 6. This is one of the global webinars that we are doing after certain months, and I'm excited to have the panelists with us from India and outside India. What could be a better topic for us to discuss in a global webinar, which is Gen Zs in workforce. Whether they are excited or they're pretending to be excited is yet to be seen. Also, I would like our panelists to touch upon on the skills that they come up with and the skills that they need to improve to become part of the corporate world. Now, we thought that it will be a good idea not to only take perspective from the HR leaders in India, but also bring the HR leaders from all over the world. So it's going to be exciting to all the audience here who are watching us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Please do share your comments. And if you have any questions that you want any of our panelists to answer, feel free to share those questions. During the phase of this webinar, I will try to pick the questions that matters the most for this conversation. But before I go to the conversation, let me just have all the panelists on the stage one by one, and then I will be quickly introducing them to our audience. So to begin with, I'll go the same sequence, and I can see on my screen. I can say Shivendra on the screen first, who is into Isolation Energy Limited, and he is the head of the human resources based out of Jaipur. So welcome, Shivendra, to this panel.
Thank you, Govind.
Awesome. And we also have Cornell, who is joining us from Ghana at this point in time, and he's a senior HR VP advisor at Capital Empowerment Group Limited. Welcome, Cornell, to this panel.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. I also have Santosh with us, and Santosh is the VP HR with Water Labs AI, and he's based out of Bangalore. Welcome, Santosh, to the panel. Santosh, you're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, Govind, and happy to be here. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. We also have Moise with us, and he's joining us from Ahmedabad. He's the HR Director of Fulfillment IQ. Welcome, Moise, to this particular panel.
Excited to be a part of this group. Thank you, Govind.
Awesome. And we also have Nikhil with us, and I think Nikhil is on mute right now. Nikhil is the head of the HR from Narayana Hospital. So welcome, Nikhil, and you're based out of Jaipur.
Yeah, thank you very much. Pleasure to be a part of this session.
Awesome. So everyone I was mentioning, and I'm sure you must have heard that before this, before putting you guys on the stage, that this conversation is about Gen Zs, right? And what could be a better panel that we have all over the world to understand if everybody perceives Gen Zs as same and what kind of skills that they need to work in the corporate world that we have, right? So we will take some of the questions that I would like to ask you, but at the same time, I've also encouraged our audience to ask some questions that they wanted to ask from you guys. So audience, once again, please feel free to add your questions from whatever platform, LinkedIn or YouTube, you are joining us. Please feel free. I will try my level best to make sure that I will be asking those questions from these audience. Now, to begin with, let me start with Shivendra first. And Shivendra, because you're into the solar and you have been working with many other kind of industry almost for 19 years. So you have led telecom, you have led renewables, pharma, and I'm sure that you must have noticed Gen Zs coming up in the corporate world and in different industries to industry. And do you see any particular struggle that they have? And also, do you see that what are the things that they are very good at and what are the things that you think that they need at hand holding? What's your opinion on that?
See, Govind, as you have rightly said, coming from various industries of background, I have seen some sort of similar pattern. One is specifically in context of their curiosity. They don't shy away, in asking any sort of questions. During we millennials or even Gen X, we used to think whether we should be asking it out, but they are more vocal in expressing themselves, in asking the right kind of questions. And this is the plus point of plus side of there. And the negative part is there's a lot of attention in this particular because they want quick actions or quick results. So I have, especially in the industry where I work, I have seen, because majority of our workforce, especially at the entry level, or all these Gen Zs only, whether we hire them as diploma or trainees or engineers or ITIs, their average tenure is not even 1 year. So there's a lot of churning in context of their numbers. They want more in less time. So that is one thing which I have specifically noticed in Gen Z. The urge to get more in less time.
Yeah, that's a good.
I hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yeah. I think you just said that Gen Zs are very vocal, and I can testimony what you're saying because I think the kind of environment they come from at this point in time is really where they are encouraged to voice their opinion. But Shivendra, because they're voicing their opinion and they're working with Generation X and millennials as their managers, have you seen a conflict? Because, well, at least I can talk about myself that we've been told, at least in Indian culture, that you should not have a conflict or voice out your opinion to your elders. I know in corporate world it changes, but still, I think you have the people who are Gen X and millennial who are reporting managers of Gen Zs. How do they take it? Do you see any conflict there, or do you think they take it properly?
See, conflict is part and parcel of every corporate world, wherever you work. Even in the peers also there are conflicts. It's all about everybody's ideology, everybody's own preferences and priorities. So that is part and parcel. But yes, in context of, because we millennials and the Gen X, We are not that tech savvy. Although we as a millennial, we are at the very cusp of, we have seen the entire spectrum of the technology driving from, the entire era we have seen. But Gen Z, they have only seen the mobile and the, those all the social media groups and everything. So whatever they want to get, so that is where they are able to provide you the inputs in a fraction of seconds, where we used to think, "Acha, isko karna kaise hai yaar? How we will be able to do it?" But they know how to do it. So they are very tech savvy. That is one part of it. And also, whenever it is not that they gang up also very fast. Recent some instances also happened in India. I mean, that is one of the instances. But in companies also, I've seen if there is something happening, so they will gang up. They will gang up like, okay, this is what we want, and the message bucketed down very fast. I mean, you can look. It's like spreading a fire.
Yeah, and I think I know what you're talking about. Let me take Santosh in this conversation. So we heard the Jaipur side of it. Let me hear the Bangalore side of it. So Santosh, what do you think? Do you also see when Gen Zs are voicing out their opinion to their reporting managers or senior colleagues who might not be Gen Zs themselves? And I'm assuming you're also not a Gen Z by birth. I'm sure you're Gen Z by heart. But do you see that the reporting managers and seniors are how they are taking this way of Gen Zs coming up and maybe voicing out and sometimes not agreeing to their advices?
I think, currently what I see is that the managers are not well equipped to manage. So those questions, I think we need to answer it. So currently what we do is that we are telling managers to be patient, hear them out, so that whatever their questions are there, because as Shivendra mentioning, they have a lot of questions, queries to be answered. So we should be prepared to that. And what I see is that we see it as a challenge, even though, but we are preparing our management team to do that. So whatever answers, if they are not able to answer, take them to HR or the next level where the answers are there. So we are trying to be more transparent and communicative, so that like it is very clear. We are bringing in clarity here and also the purpose here. So why we are doing it, and how we are doing it. So that way we are trying to be transparent. So to a great extent, I think that is helping us.
Awesome. So let me touch upon a little bit different aspect of that.
Okay.
You've been hiring Gen Zs, and I think everybody's hiring Gen Zs. We have no other option than hiring Gen Zs if we have to hire fresh blood now, and that is why I think organizations are trying to understand how to manage this generation. Many have found the solution or still in the process and journey to change the work culture according to them and also educate them. But when you are hiring Gen Zs, do you see the difference between how they project their confidence, commitment, and what they can bring on the table vis-a-vis when they actually join you in the organization? Do you see a difference, or do you see whatever they say during recruitment, they actually delivers it, or you see a huge difference? Do you see, well, that's normal, it was always like that, during the interview people say a lot of things, might not be able to deliver? Is this a different one? Is it the same one? Or do you see a difference between interview commitments to actually delivery?
Yeah, that's the most relevant question now, Govind. So what I feel is that there is a gap. To be honest, there's a gap. See, what I see is that there is a gap between interview potential versus the workplace evidence. See, it is not necessary that they are overselling the skills. But what we see is that during the interview, they are very confident and they are ambitious. But after some time, that is fading away because we are not able to predict their resilience, consistency, and adaptability. See, what we see is that they're very ambitious. They want to maybe they climb the Mount Everest today, but what we see is that once they are put into the real job, they are like fading away. Their motivation levels come down. So as Shivendra mentioning, we see that a lot of attritions are happening in that the early period, 3 months, 6 months. We see a lot of attrition happening. So what we see is that sometimes we need to match it. So whatever they are projecting during the interview, that is not really translating on the job. Because even though they are very skillful, what we see is that they are not patient enough. They are not patient enough to give enough time for the work, learn, adapt. So those skill sets somewhere, I think we need to train them upon. So what I see is that even though they need a lot of flexibility, freedom, but they are not ready to be accountable. So they are only ready to finish up the work and move on. So those things, the ownership is lacking. At maybe the accountability part, maybe that need to be polished. So even though the first impression is awesome, but we really see that the consistency is not there. That gets faded away after maybe a 90 to a 180 days window. So somewhere as a HR, what we do is that we are bringing up a lot of interventions. We do a kind of a onboarding surveys, 30, 60, 90. Then we have this buddy engagement. So many of the interventions we are putting into prevent those attritions and early exits. So that's what we are doing it. Even though they are capable, somewhere I think they are not like our old school people. We are committed and maybe we wanted to retire from the same company. So that is not the attitude what they have. So that is a gap which I see.
Got your point. So you mentioned about them being more focused on the outcome and delivery as opposed to maybe on the time or the shift timing, etc. Unless you have a
Correct.
shift time requirement there. Do you think the organizations are now ready with such kind of culture where it is not based on the amount of time that you are spending in the office, but it is measured on the impact that you are creating? Do you see that the organizations are ready for that? Because Bangalore considered to be a hub of a lot of IT organization, right? I'm considering you have AI at the back. I'm assuming you're a technology company. Is it a technology company?
Yeah, we are a technology company and also we are into healthcare IT. We are into revenue
Awesome.
cycle management. So we are a combination of both.
Yeah, and I think it is considered as one of the hub, the IT hub in India, and IT always known for the best practices, in the HR world. Do you think the world is ready to have Gen Zs uh, responsible and accountable for the outcome, not on the amount of time they spend? Do you think that is there?
No. I think we are not yet ready. So probably we are maybe 40-50% is there. So we are not ready to accept that fact because at the end of the day, we look at maybe the coverage, whether the person has worked 8 hours, maybe what is the time on the system, maybe we are productive. So we have a lot of tools to track that, whether whatever we are paying, whether the productivity is met or not. So we are not there, Govind, to be honest. Probably we can say we are only 40-50% there.
Got your point. Let me just have Nikhil also on this conversation, as Nikhil comes from hospital industry where you cannot even imagine people working remotely. They need to be there. I don't know if there's a change. Please enlighten us, Nikhil, after this. But
Not at
on
all.
Santosh's point, no? Okay. On Santosh's point that the organizations, but even if it is a work from office, even then, I think you can build a culture where people are observed and rated, or their performance is rated on the output that they are giving as opposed to the time they're spending. Do you see, like Santosh said, no, I think we are 40% there, but not all the organizations are okay with this. What do you think? I know that you are from Jaipur. What do you think from Jaipur perspective or your understanding of other industry? What do you think, is it is there or it is not there?
So, Govind, what I think is that at least if I talk from a hospital industry perspective, if you are not working, you are getting someone's life into a challenge. So, so they have to be on toes almost all the time. Yes, there are a spur of timelines when they can be a little more relaxed, but not much. And definitely work from home, not possible in this industry at all.
All right,
the
so
best
I
thing
think
is, Santosh will be happy you're working 5 days a week. We all work 6 days a week because a patient can come anytime and a person can get sick anytime. So that's another challenge of working 24/7 industry.
yeah, and I hope they have to work 7 days also, because there are emergencies in hospital and there has to be staff out there. I know Santosh is working for IT for hospital industry. Is that what you said, right? For the IT for hospital, Santosh?
Yeah, it is for RCM, US healthcare and support, but we work only 5 days, not 7 days or 6 days, like what Nikhil
Oh,
was mentioning.
this is so bad that your clients are working 6 days and sometimes 7 days, and you are building their technology and working only not fair.
They
Now, but
should
I
be
think
also, they should also get an opportunity to get our feelings.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, 100%. I understand. Empathize
yeah, I
you.
think technology has this advantage for sure that they can come up with all the best practices. But there are some industries like hospitals where I think it is not possible, and I think this is rightly so that the possibility is not there. But Nikhil, let me just go to you as you are from healthcare, and healthcare is always on the very high stake, as you correctly said. It is the life of people that is on the stake. A high pressure environment because you have to manage the emergencies, and there are family members of the patient depending upon their emotional stage. There are a lot of high pressure situation that has to happen, and you cannot have trial and error. You need to make sure that you are whatever you're doing to at least to a standard that you have to follow. Very less room for trial and error. Now, how do you build as a HR leader, as a business leader, how do you build resilience and accountability in changes that you're hiring, who are shaping this particular sector, where if even a small mistake can be a life taking mistake? What do you have to say on that part?
Okay. So coming back to now, since we anyway do hire a lot of young blood and Gen Z, understanding that nursing and paramedic teams, we are getting into new blood, as well as certain set of doctors also, junior doctors who are getting into the Zen. Couple of things which has become very important is, one is to create a very safe working environment for them, because the resilience level of these people and understanding of these people is very very limited. So we create that environment where they feel safe and says, okay, we are ready to learn and take it up. uh, it is not something which is like a environment of a fear, but environment um, has to be with safe learning and enjoyable. Second, since these are all youngsters and coming around, uh, is to also strengthen the mentorship and coaching. Okay, in terms of getting into that, then also we are providing constant feedbacks of to people, saying that how they are working towards generating and working out with the team, and as Gen Zs, and in fact today we are also talking about it. They always wanted to work for a purpose. Now, the purpose over here is to be created in terms of two things. One is patient centric purpose, which is the lifeline for the hospitals. And secondly, is their vision of their future. Saying that, okay, if you want to create your future into this particular stream, let's say as a nursing or paramedic or a doctor, how this chapter of yours or these will take you to the your dreams, so that creating that purpose is a very very important thing which we work on.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because um, you can still when you talk about Gen Zs, you can still try to have an environment where you are changing your work culture according to them. But in the healthcare industry, especially in hospital, there is a standard process that you have to follow, and if you don't follow that, it could be something that can be a life a threatening situation for people.
Absolutely.
Uh, do you see that people who are coming in healthcare, Gen Zs, of course, today Gen Zs are the one who are coming fresh, but tomorrow there'll be Alpha that will be coming. Do you think that the healthcare industry, like the medical colleges, etc., is already making these Gen Zs who are coming to the hospitals ready for that mindset? Do you think that is happening there?
Very limited, very
Very
limited.
limited.
Understanding that, see, college today, not many, as is limited, only limited colleges are making them a perfectly employable on the
Hmm.
first go. They are more very raw. They understand little bit of theory and little bit of practical, but not much of it.
Hmm.
So that's what when I was talking about a lot of learning environment which has to be created. So I'll take an
Hmm.
example. When we hire a person at nursing,
Hmm.
obviously there's an HR induction for 1 to 2 days, understanding and everything out as an organization. Then there is 7 to 10 days nursing induction, which happens for them to understand in depth of what nursing they're going to be teaching, what they care. After that, there's 1 month of
Yeah, we lost Nikhil, but Moise, I wanted to bring to you to this conversation on, in your opinion, the colleges and universities that are producing these Gen Zs to come to the corporate world now. In your opinion, do you think that the university and colleges are doing a good job of of educating these Gen Zs of what the expectation of the corporate culture is, or do you think that there's a improvement that is needed at there?
Well, Govind, I have a different perspective to this. It
Right.
is not only the colleges or universities' responsibility to make Gen Zs or Gen Alphas or the coming generations future ready or employable. It is a shared responsibility, and corporates and HR professionals like us have a big role to play in this. So what I'm seeing right now, especially in metros, is that a lot of industry academia collaboration is happening, and it is happening for good. Now I have also always been a part of a lot of academic events wherein I get the opportunity to talk to a lot of newer generation, and what I understand is they have a lot of questions and they are curious, and because they are getting these opportunities to speak with somebody from the industry, the gap that was earlier is now getting filled, or I mean, it is at least the gap is getting a lower, because uh, colleges alone cannot do everything, or universities alone cannot do everything. It has to be a shared responsibility between corporates and professionals like us.
No, I couldn't agree more. This is absolutely right. These are two ends that really get benefited by having a fresh blood in the corporate world, and both have to do equal share of their responsibility. But boys, what I wanted to ask you is that uh, you really has hands-on experience with coaching and developing the young talent. Now let me ask you, and I think that this what I'm asking you is going to be very useful, not only for the HR leaders who are watching this webinar, but also the business leaders, because they have changes in their team. This question will be very beneficial for them as well. Now, what's the one coaching habit or reframe that's genuinely worked to turn a pretending to be excited Gen Z to someone who's actually excited and engaged? Do you have any tips from that perspective for our audience?
Sure. So I have changed my approach and perspective towards this. So rather than focusing on how do I make the Gen Z more engaged, I now started focusing on, do they understand why their work matters? So, in my overall experience of nearly 2 decades, I've seen a lot of changes, technological and otherwise. And, again, the fresh blood coming in teaches us a lot of things. So, most Gen Zs that I've noticed aren't pretending to be excited. That's the best part. And I envy this generation for that. They're very real and they don't like to pretend at all. They are often trying to find relevance in their work. Our generation was very, very comfortable waiting for the meaning to emerge over time, but Gen Zs want to understand the impact upfront. So I'll share an anecdote from my experience. So I remember working with a young employee who was technically strong, but During the course of time after the hiring was done, he appeared to be a little disengaged. Now his manager felt that he was just doing the bare minimum, or how we call scratching the surface. But instead of focusing on the performance first, we spent time connecting his work to the larger business outcome, and we tried to give him the visibility on the customer impact. So we also involved him in discussions and decisions when they were being made. And before we assigned him task, we gave him the clarity. So this change was remarkable. So once he could see how his contribution influenced the bigger picture, his energy shot up, ownership was improved, also his initiative increased significantly. So the coaching habit that I encourage to all my managers, and this is an advice to everybody who is listening today, is to adopt what I call context before correction. So before you tell your young employees what they need to do differently, try and help them understand why their work matters and how success will be measured, where they can create an impact. So these things really help. And when Gen Zs see their purpose and they get constant feedback, timely feedback, they feel more trusted and their engagement shoots up. And this also helps to improve their performance. So,
Yeah.
Govind, to answer your question, I don't think Gen Z is looking for constant motivation. They're looking for connection between effort and impact.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I'm glad that you said so, because this is one thing that I really practice or try to practice in all three organizations that I run. And I myself seen impact of this, that when they know why they're doing what they're doing, you will see a drastic change in the efforts, at least they're going to put in to make that happen. Um, I totally agree. Let me just make sure that I have some different perspective on that and bring Cornell on the stage. Cornell, tell me, like Moise just mentioned that the context is important for Gen Zs, right? If you give them context, they will be able to put in more efforts. Do you see this same in Ghana, or you see it differently, or your own personal experience working with Gen Zs? What do you say?
Yeah, yeah, it's very true what Moy said. You just have to give them the context, explain to them why they need to do what they do. And for you to feel their relevance, you need to understand their perspective, their line of thinking. You need to be able to talk their language. You see, when you know their context, how they think, you'll be able to understand how to relate with them. So the way the ordinary Gen Z will speak or think, should be able to think about how they think, speak their language. When you speak their language, it's better. I mean, you are better positioned to be able to understand and relate more with them. And it is key for me to also say that they are the future of work. So if you would want to engage them and knowing that very well, these are the people who are going to take up our roles in the next 10 to 15 years to come, it's best for us to prepare them, understand their language, and teach them whatever we need to teach them now so that they can be able to take up their role in the future.
Perfect. So, Cornell, I'm very curious, and I'm sure my audience would be curious too, because when we talk about Gen Zs, at least in this side of the world, we have mostly seen the opinion from the Western side of it, what kind of articles are coming on Gen Zs. And we do also produce a lot of articles ourselves in India. A lot of surveys are done. One of my organizations recently did a survey on Gen Zs. Excellent results that we got from there. But what I think our audience can get value out of it is that if you can share us that what does this excitement versus struggle picture looks like for Gen Zs entering the workforce in Ghana and across the wider African market, if you can talk about that part to us, like what you heard from other panelists, is the same situation there? Are Gen Zs in Ghana and other part of Southern Africa different? Are they same? What's your opinion there?
Yeah, so like some speakers already mentioned, it is exciting to have Gen Z's work for an organization. For instance, we, Capital Empowerment Group, we are into HR consulting, and you are bringing a lot of Gen Zs who are going to work for organizations, or you are interacting with a lot of Gen Zs who are working for organizations. And like I previously said, they are the future of work. The exciting part of it is that, let me take it from the perspective of the employer. The perspective of the employer is finding the talent pipeline for the future. So bringing on board the Gen Z means that you are bringing them and filling the talent pipeline. So whoever exits, you have somebody available to take up the role, and you're also preparing the person for the future. So you have your succession plan engaged or involved in or planning your succession plan, so that you always have people available to work. Now, that's the exciting part for the employer, because you are building your talent pipeline, you are having your succession plan already set up. So it's exciting for the employer. Now, on the perspective of the Gen Z, right from school, everybody's excited, want to work and make their own money. So they're excited about coming to work, they're excited about making their own money, they're excited about making contribution to the business, the success of the business. So when they pitch an idea, they are excited that their idea is being worked on. They're excited that, my idea is what we are using for the business, and it's brought a lot of success to the organization. So they are excited about it. Now, the struggle for the organization is that a lot of Gen Zs do not understand why they need to go through the mill and understand how they must get experience and not get the quick fix in everything. Now, we, the millennials, we know how to go through the process. We know what it means that, to take your time and then be promoted and gain whatever promotions and experience that you need before you get whatever you want. The Gen Zs are not like that. They want it now. Whatever they want it now. So you are working with a Gen Z, and the Gen Z feels like, I want to do this and I want it now. They don't know what is called process. They don't know, and some process I understand can be very daunting and can be very bureaucratic, but the Gen Z doesn't understand it. If he wants it now. The quick fix is a struggle for most employers. On the flip side of the Gen Z, that struggle is the fact that we are not able to speak their language. We are not able to understand what they are saying or what they are trying to put across. Once we are able to bridge that, problem solved. Now, the struggle is very clear, because we have not been able to set up the clear balance between, have a gap between academia and industry. And I like what one of the speakers said. It's a shared responsibility. We need to also have the opportunity where we bring in people from school for internship and groom them in the process. What we do at Capital Empowerment Group is that once in a while we go out there to universities and train them on their career guidance, train them on how to write CVs, train them on how to attend interviews, train them on some certain skills that is needed, because these are things that would get them informed. These are things that would get them ready for the job market. So we are not only doing that, we are not only giving them the platform to work, but we're also providing them the opportunity for them to understand what it means to work and then bridge that gap, making them relevant, making them excited about work, canceling or forestalling every challenge that they may see. And we are excited to have Gen Zs to work, because they are the future of work.
I couldn't agree more. Of course, they are future of work. And what I'm hearing, Cornel, from you is very similar to what I've been hearing in India, outside India. And that tells me that actually the world is becoming a global village. Not much is different than what is happening in one side of the world to the other side of the world. And with these Gen Zs, at least with my daughter, I can tell you, is that the music they are listening is the music that everybody else is listening to the other side of the world. They are not that local country music. The music is also becoming global. The kind of brands they're wearing is becoming global. The food they're eating is becoming global. I think the whole world is becoming a global village very soon. So what I'm hearing from you is I think are the same kind of pros and cons that I heard primarily in India and outside. So meaning it's the same thing, that same struggle, same benefits also in Ghana, that what you describe. And the person who was saying that we need to have a very good collaborative efforts between industry and academy was Moise. And he was mentioning it's not only industry, it's not only academia responsibility, it's industry responsibility. A lot has to be done by both the parties, but also some government initiatives need to be taken to make sure that these things also come closer more as we go to have a better workforce in future.
Right.
Now, as we, I would like to take some questions from the audience. So I'm going to put everybody on the stage here right now, and then on the right hand side, there are some questions that have come from our audience. So let me take one by one, and anyone can choose to answer. Otherwise, I can pick one also based on your expertise. So there's one question from Sitaram, and his question is, as Gen Z continues to reshape the workplace expectation, what retention strategies have proven most effective in keeping the right talent engaged and committed? So anyone wants to pick? Otherwise, I have a name in mind who can answer this.
Maybe.
Nikhil, you want to take, or Yossi, you want to take?
I think, let me just say a thing or two. For us in Ghana, for Gen Zs, to have the retention strategy, you want to have a lot more of work flexibility. So not everybody wants to come to the office every time. So having a work flexibility means that they can work remotely or have a hybrid where they come to work at times and also go to the work from home. So that thought of flexibility gets them engaged a lot. And they know, okay, I can do this and I can have time for myself. That work-life balance is something that is very key for them. And then having a lot of actions towards mental stability or mental health. Anything you do is my mental health is being affected. So you know to make sure that your mental health is not trampled upon, or you're not putting things in place that will make sure, my mental health is being worried. I need to check my mental health. So you want to put in strategies to ensure that one, their flexibility, work flexibility is okay, and their mental health issues are not trampled upon, because these are things that they are looking up for, and then they would stay committed to the organization where they know that work schedules are flexible and I can work as and when I want to work and still make my money. Yes.
Awesome. So work flexibility and mental health. And Cornel, you were the one that was in my mind to answer this question. So glad that you started. But I know other panelists also wants to jump in. So yeah, Santosh, if you have something to share, do go ahead.
Yeah. Govind, I think that's one of the best questions. So what I feel is that when we are looking at the expectation, I think we need to manage the employee experiences. So retention, primarily we should focus on the reasons to stay, why an employee should stay. First and foremost, then like pay will come into picture, then the growth, the career path and progression should be clear. And also the manager quality plays a big role here. The way a manager is mentoring and providing the support to the employee. And the last and not the least, the purpose need to be connected. I think earlier also, I think few of the panelists have mentioned the purposes need to be tagged, and also the employee experiences should be the outcome here. So if you are able to manage the employee experience, I think the expectation should be taken care.
Makes sense.
Also, I'd like to...
another... Go ahead.
Yeah, so
I have another question for you, but you can answer this one as well quickly. Nikhil also wants to jump in. So quickly give your 2 bites as we are close to the webinar end. But yeah, go ahead, Moise, and then Nikhil, you, and then I'll ask another question.
So we've actually tried it and felt that whenever we show Gen Zs that we as an organization are investing in their career development, we have seen that stickiness and retention.
Awesome.
So one thing which, I'd like to add on to what Moise has said. Apart from that, as I said, they want instant results. So the immediate similar lines, they want instant recognition also. So if you are recognizing their efforts, or whatever, even if pat on the back kind of a thing, or even like for industry like us, the cash incentives play a big role. So for, if you have done a small Kaizen or even a 5S activity, or you have done small work which has helped in the, production, maybe enhance the efficiency. So we give them instant recognition on monthly basis, where we call a kind of a small town hall meeting, and all the performers who have contributed are being recognized every month. So with that helps them to stay motivated, and also the interventions like, because most of these Gen Zs nowadays, they don't believe in traditional education system. They are into bit size of courses. So we are
Yeah,
providing them small courses which help them to upskill themselves, which are relevant to their job and also in context of their career progression.
got it. Nikhil, you have to add anything?
Yeah, quick thing. When I was, in fact, got disrupted because of the technology. I was basically talking about connecting, purpose to what they are currently doing, and I was talking about that we are creating that particular purpose for them to be aligning for their future. So creating a step-by-step growth path and defining that when they can pick up the growth and what are the quickest way of reaching this, definitely align with their thought process of making a quick jump and moving into the next level and doing next. So in fact, I was talking to someone and then she says, I would like to take the supervisory position quickly. It says, okay, fair deal, but you have to be learning these three skills to ensure that you rose to a supervisory position. So those kind of a very candid conversations, very, very important for them.
Got it. Thank you, Nikhil. And Sita Ram, your question triggered all our panelists to speak. So good question, I would say. But because we are already up the time, I have a lot of long list of questions on my right hand side. I think as a moderator, I will choose who will answer now. And you have to promise me to answer it quickly so that I can take such of the great questions. And I think I love this question. And I would like to ask you this, Moise, because I think you spoke about it. How can manager, very, very interesting one. How can manager effectively give feedback to Gen Zs without making them feel micromanaged or disconnected with the organization? Any thought? How do you give that feedback?
So before we, actually give them the feedback, it is very important that we listen to them actively and understand what are the challenges that they are facing. And the right kind of coaching actually helps to give the or deliver the feedback in the right way. So say for example, rather than being directly criticizing something, we usually ask them, this was not done in the way that it was expected. What do you think could have been improved, or what do you think are the challenges? So let them answer it, and eventually we come to a conclusion, and then we move to the next steps, which is how do we improve, or what would be the better way to do that specific activity. So this is how the approach we are following, and it's working for us.
Great, great. Thank you. I think, Shweta, hope your question got answered. I have another one for Cornell. Cornell, the question is for you. Very interesting. How to
So,
convince leaders to learn from Gen Zs? Or this question is from Maleha on your screen. How do you convince leaders to learn from Gen Zs? Why always Gen Zs need to learn stuff, this and that? Why can't you make the leaders to learn Gen Zs? I think Maleha is a Gen Z, so Maleha, I'm putting your voice to at least this panel. But Cornell, over to you. Answer this question.
I think it is all connected to what I said earlier on, which has to do with the fact that Gen Zs are the future of work. So convincing leaders to understand that these are the people who are going to take up our roles, who are going to take up responsibility, it forms part of, first of all, convincing them. So, and making sure that they have the business buy-in, or having the buy-in of the Gen Zs would make work very smooth for you. So if you are going to convince them, let them know and understand that, okay, you need to have the buy-in of these people. You need to have, these are stakeholders of the organization. These are people who are going to implement your strategies. These are the people who are going to implement your policies. So it's best to listen to them. So why not listen, or why not do what they are saying? This is what they think. So it's best to understand their frame of thinking and understand how they operate. So convincing leaders to understand or to work with Gen Zs or to learn from Gen Zs should be the fact that, one, they are people who are going to take up the future of work. They are people who are going to implement whatever you are going to do. So you need to understand, get their buy-ins, get to know what they think and how to go about it. So I think for me, yeah, it plays a very key role in that, yeah.
Yeah, and Maleha just replied that she's not a Gen Z. She said, "No, I'm not a Gen Z." And in fact, she just said she just retired. So great. So we have a Gen Z advocate on this audience as well. But I would say that it is equally responsibility of the organization to make themselves ready for the next workforce that is coming, which is Gen Zs. Whether it is by training your own managers and leaders how to work for Gen Zs, and whatever, wherever possible, make changes in your policies. Like, I know Nikhil can't make changes of work from home policy. Well, that's fair enough. But maybe Santosh can, which he might be already doing. But I'm giving examples where wherever you can accommodate the work style of your Gen Zs, I think you should do that. So thank you very much, Cornel, for answering. Somebody asked for an honest opinion, and somehow I feel that Santosh will be giving that. So Santosh,
Okay.
the question is for you. How would you describe Gen Z's approach to work compared to with previous generation, which is which is actually your generation? How do you describe that work approach? And Sonali wants a very honest reply. So the pressure is
Yeah.
on you.
That's a good question, Govind. I don't see them many different. The only thing is that, see, the difference what we see is that in our generations, we were very accommodative, we were very patient enough. So here, the difference is that this generation Z is like more of zero tolerance. They want the immediate answers. So that's also, we have to be little patient in managing it. What I see that they are also excellent generation, so with a lot of capabilities. So we need to fine tune and mentor them in a proper way. I think then we will get the desired outcome. So they are not different. So they are more capable than our generation. So only thing is that we need to direct them properly. So that's the only difference here.
Awesome. So I really hope you got the honest answer. I think I would have said the same thing as Santosh mentioned, but thank you very much for asking this question. Nikhil, I think this question is very apt for you. This question has come from Mayank, and he's asking that many Gen Z's professionals value flexibility, purpose, and rapid growth. Very true. Now, where should organization draw the line between meeting these expectations and maintaining accountability and performance? And I know that in your industry, many of that is not possible. Flexibility, maybe, but purpose is absolutely possible. Rapid growth is still possible. Now, so I think you are the best person to answer. Where should organization draw the line?
So while we are trying to create a line between both, it is very important to see that so flexibilities over here is to some extent possible, but not too much. Like the many other industries. But yes, since we work on different shift timings, that's one flexibility which we provide to our team members. Secondly, we work on stipulated number of hours. So there are timelines and people work a little more during initials and then take more leave. So that's another kind of flexibilities which we can provide. But not, yes, our few sets of people gets an added advantage of in terms of their sick leave, casual leaves, and ELs, because like nursing and paramedic, understanding they work on a lot of stress. Also, we are working a lot on when it comes to the mental well-being and health of the people. So that becomes a kind of support factor for them, especially when they have such kind of a challenges facing. And yes, availability of all of us to be there when they are working also makes a difference. But a very clear line, a little difficult, because we live in a gray area in that case.
I think that makes sense, and I think if as long as we are open to make sure that we are able to tell them about the purpose and the rapid growth plan they have, and whatever flexibility possible based on the industry, I think still works. So thank you, Nikhil. Shivendra, let me go back to you, and this is the question Brinda has asked, and she's asking, what are the top 2 to 3 skills you believe Gen Z professionals are currently missing the most, and what can organization do to help them to develop them? But let's not talk about the second part. Let's talk about what are the top 2 to 3 skills that you think Gen Zs are missing. in your opinion?
First and foremost is the patience. It's a soft skill, not a technical one, because they are technically more adept than us when they are, when they have to use technology. So patience, that is only, I mean, I'm not looking at two,
and
three, only one
patience.
for me,
All
patience.
three. Yeah, you can say patience 3 times. 1 is patience, 2nd is patience, 3rd is patience. These are the 3
Third is
skills that Gen
patience,
Zs
yeah. These 3, patience, patience, and patience.
If I may add emotional intelligence to it.
Okay, good. Here is
And
Saki from
second, I can recall of another is common sense. I mean, they are aloof for what is happening in the world. They are very specific to what is in for them.
Great. And I was assuming Brinda herself is a Gen Z, so I'm sure she is listening to what Shivendra and Cornell has to say. But thank you very much. Cornell, a question directly towards you was thrown, so I am inclined to take it for you. Here's the question, and this question is from Vidushi, who's managing the whole show, so I can't miss her question, otherwise it would be a problem in future. So Cornell, question for you. From your experience in Ghana, how are organizations dealing with expectations of Gen Z employee, particularly around career growth, technology, flexibility, and work culture? And you have to give your Ghana flavor to it.
I think just like globally, like we are all doing in India, and the same thing for Ghana. We are positioned and we know very well that, okay, these are people who have a different skill set. They have a different mindset to issues. And for that reason, we, as HR managers or HR professionals, we position ourselves in a place where we give them career growth. So give them opportunities. If there is a need for them to take up a task, you make them leaders of it. You take their ideas. So they're the ideation period where you give them the platform to speak. So whatever you are doing as an HR leader, organizations in Ghana are giving them the forefront to speak and not be silenced in whatever they are saying. So giving them the listening ear, understanding that these are the people who have some ideas, and most of them have brilliant ideas. Most of the things that we implement in organizations, when it comes to even employee wellness programs, they have the brilliant ideas. And anything that we want to do in Ghana that has to do with organizational success, you would get the ideas from these Gen Zs. So you don't alienate them from the decision-making process. We get them involved, we get them together, and then get the ideas from them. How are we going to solve them? And bringing them on board makes them feel involved in the decision process. And for that alone, they feel, okay, they feel they are in oneness with the organization. And their career growth is already guaranteed, because once they feel they are engaged in the organization and in the decision-making process, their growth is guaranteed.
Awesome. Thank you, Cornell, for sharing this. And I would thank every panelist here to share their opinion from different part of India, from across the globe, to share what they think about Gen Zs, how organizations are preparing themselves to get ready, how you guys as HR leader working to prepare organization. Not only the Gen Zs are prepared, but at the same time, people who are already in the organization from previous generation, to make sure that they understand what Gen Zs are expecting, because as Cornell said, they are the future of workforce. So there is no way that we can ignore them. We just have to accommodate them. We just have to open our arms. We just have to understand them. But at the same time, Gen Zs has to do the same. It has to be an effort made by both sides, both generations, to make the workplace of the world better. With that said, thank you very much, everyone, and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you very much for another time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure connecting and getting inputs. Have a great evening ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye.